You're listening to Blue Line Banter with Tristan and Mackenzie.
Alrighty, welcome back. Episode of Blue Line Banter. I'm Tristan, joined by Mac, as always. It's early.
Also, this is our 10th episode.
It is. It's crazy.
Which is kind of cool.
It's really cool. We made it. We made it to 10.
We did make it to 10.
And I'm proud of us.
10 is big, honestly.
I'm proud of us. So, I think we're just going to get right into it this week. Going around the NHL for the first little bit. Mac, you want to start us off with something?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a few things.
All right, she has a few things.
I'm going to start with actual league things.
All right.
And then I'll do the funny thing I saw.
Okay.
And then we can do more league things. And then I want to finish with another funny thing that I saw.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
So the Blue Jackets, Columbus Blue Jackets last night.
Yep.
They beat Nashville 8-4. 8-4.
Okay. Good win. Good win for them.
And then also on Saturday? Give me 1 second.
Well, you look that up. I'm going to slide across the room and do something else.
Yeah. Okay. So they played the Predators last night and then lost to the Senators on Saturday, which was a 3-2 loss. So it's not like they were getting blown out or anything like that. They're kind of right in the mix here. And then on Saturday, probably one of the highest scoring games we've seen, they played the Canucks.
Oh, yeah, that's 7-6. Weren't they down 3-0 after the first or something?
They were. So the second period, they had 3 goals, one from Boone-Jenner, Marchenko, Fabro, and then the Canucks scored, but we're not talking about the Canucks.
No.
And then they had 3 more in the third period. So it was tied 6-6. They go into overtime. Neither team can get it done. I didn't watch this game, but I'm assuming both goalies played well through that overtime.
You would hope, yeah.
I would hope. So then they go into a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who gets the shootout winner?
No, I actually don't.
Kay Johnson. So that is.
Yeah.
That is.
Okay. That is.
Kent Johnson. So he is a center.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has 22 goals and 27 assists, so he's 49 points. Pretty sure he's their third line center.
Yep. Something like that. I'll pull it up. While I do that, Kent Johnson?
Yeah.
Currently listed on their second line right wing.
Oh, okay.
According to dailyfaceoff.com. But
okay. Well, you know what? We give you a lot of misinformation all the time.
We try our best.
On the score, he's listed as a center.
Okay.
But still, not a name that we hear of a ton, but still being a 20-goal scorer, somebody that you expect to have some big moments.
Yep.
But a shootout winner, I think, is amazing. That's a huge winner. So they are 1 point back of the wild card spot with a game in hand over the Canadiens. So the rest of the Blue Jackets schedule, they have the Avs, Maple Leafs, Senators back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but they play them twice.
Yep.
And then they have the Sabres, and then the Capitals, and then the Capitals, Flyers, Islanders. So it's difficult.
Playoff, Sabres, playoff, Flyers, Islanders.
Yeah. So I would say if they can win, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they have 10 games left.
Yeah.
If they can win 7 of those, and 2 of them being ones that they aren't supposed to win.
If they can win 7, I mean, yeah, that should pass the Canadiens. But again, the Canadiens are playing really well as well.
Yeah,
so it's really hard. This wild card race is really going to come down to whoever drops a game. Because looking at the Canadiens, they've got the Bruins tomorrow,
who have lost 9 in a row.
Bruins, Flyers, Predators, Red Wings, Senators, Leafs, Blackhawks, Hurricanes. So the Canadiens have the much easier schedule.
They do.
Down the
They
stretch
do.
here.
Yep.
They also have the same, was that 9 games remaining? No, they're down to 8. They have 8 games left.
Yeah.
So Blue Jackets got a game in hand, so they have to win that one. And I think that's the thing, though. All they really have to do is win one more game than Montreal and win that game in hand.
Exactly. So really, it's 2 games, but I would be happy with either team.
Yeah,
in the
100%.
playoffs. Honestly.
I think both are young and exciting, and
Yep.
it at least shakes up the East.
Yep.
And I mean, the Senators being there is already doing that. For sure.
For sure.
And the Capitals being back. I know, like, Capitals have been there for a long time, but, like, this is a different Caps team.
Yeah.
So, like, it feels different to me.
But also, if, like, it is a different team, but it's, like, we want to see, like, other teams get in the mix and, like.
Who would you rather see? This Capitals team or the Rangers, Islanders, Pens, or Flyers?
Okay, yeah. Obviously, the Capitals.
So, like, I'm pretty okay with it. Because, like, the
sense.
Islanders, I'm tired of them squeaking in wild card 2 and getting bounced in the first round by the Hurricanes. And
the most boring round of playoffs ever.
Exactly. And, like, the Penguins had their spotlight. They had their cups. I'm okay with them being down. Flyers are a fucking mess. I'd like to see them back, but they're a mess.
I mean, with a new coach.
They're looking fine.
And then, like, with Michkov doing what he's doing.
They need to go find a goalie that isn't Ersson.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Like, realistically, they are going to be bad for the next few years.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. Like, Michkov's definitely going to help them.
Yeah.
They got Konechny, he's fine, but they still sold off a bunch of pieces at the deadline. Yeah. So, like,
Fairby Frost is, like, kind of, it put them back, like, 3 or 4 steps, I feel like.
Yeah, so they're going to have to try and build around Michkov, find some more guys for him, but we'll see what the Flyers do. And then, like, the Rangers, like, they've been there so much, too. Like, I'm okay with them not being there. So, like, in my mind, the Capitals, Hurricanes, Devils, Blue Jackets, that's fresh enough. The East, of course, the East, the Atlantic, the Sens are there. The Bruins are gone.
Yeah.
Sadly, they're no longer the big bad Bruins. They're just the bad Bruins.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And, like, that'll happen to everyone. You know, rebuilds happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, dynasties end and teams get old and age out, and then you got to restart, and I get it. But, man, 1-8-1 in their last 10, 9-game losing streak.
It just fell so
Someone
quickly.
go save Pasternak.
For real.
Someone.
For real.
I don't even, like, know if I want him in Edmonton. Just go put him somewhere.
But also, I saw that Charlie McAvoy was skating, and I was like, don't even bring him back at this point. Like, continue to be bad and slide, and then get a high draft pick.
Well, it's crazy because this is not the year to be tanking.
No, not really.
Next year is going to be the tank for McKenna.
For sure. For sure.
That'll be fun to see who tanks for McKenna because he's putting up unreal numbers, like rivaling Bedard.
Yes.
Better than Bedard.
Better than Bedard.
And, like, I think he just has a little more to his overall game coming in, but who knows? Honestly, it's always the thing of, man, this kid's 15, 16-year-olds putting up these great numbers. Will it translate? Who knows? It'll be the argument, same thing that we had with McDavid and Matthews and Bedard and literally every other young superstar. Yakupov. God, I watched like a 20-minute video last night on Yakupov. I don't know why I wanted to relive that, but the title got my attention. Let me tell you, wasn't worth the watch. I just felt sad all over again.
That's fair. Well, yeah.
Have you heard about what's happening with the Niagara Ice Dogs?
No.
Okay. OHL, I believe.
This is Zach Hyman's. No, it's not.
No, he has the Bulldogs. This is the Niagara Ice Dogs. Basically, they're currently under punishment from the league and within the team, the entire team. Apparently, they went out to like a movie theater or something and caused a disturbance that got all of them kicked out. And so their punishment, they're in the playoffs as well. They're playing the Barrie Colts, home of Oilers prospect Bo Wakey.
Yeah.
And as their punishment, Each player in the Ice Dogs lineup will be required to sit for 1 period in their first round series against the Barrie Colts, including the goaltenders.
That is crazy.
Can't believe I haven't heard of this. Yeah, no. So like each player just has to like sit there like an entire period during the series and just not play, including the goalies, which means the game like they have to. I don't think it's every game, but throughout they need to sit at least 1 period.
This is such like it feels like a cartoony punishment.
Yeah, it really is. Because it's like,
what?
why not just like fine the team or something?
That's
like,
crazy.
But like they can't suspend the entire team.
Yeah.
And it's not like they caused a public disturbance, but like they didn't do anything like illegal or like, you know, they didn't like destroy any property from what I heard. They were just like probably kids being rowdy in like just at the movies. And, you know how hockey guys are. So like, they were probably just being rowdy and disrespectful to the other people there and got kicked out. But, like...
They had to have, like, pissed somebody off before.
Probably.
In, like, the OHL organized, like, higher-ups.
Maybe.
Like, and
but
they're like, you know what? We're really going to fuck with you now.
It's just such a wacky punishment.
That's
and
crazy.
I've never seen anything like this. Where you just... Each player has to be benched for a period.
Weird. So weird. Okay, I have something silly and funny.
Okay.
Seth Jarvis was asked if he would ever become a GM. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw his
And
response.
he said, "Fuck no."
Yeah, I did see that.
the media, this is going like I've seen it a gazillion times, and I'm like, this is hilarious. Never media train this guy.
No.
Ever. Please do not. And he just sounds like such a Canadian boy when he talks. And when he talks, like, it's not like when you see somebody and it's like the actual word, like F-U-C-K.
Yeah.
When I see it, it's like F-U-C-W or F-A-W-W-W-W-K.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when your mouth does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that made me giggle, and it just makes me love Seth Jarvis more. Also, Ryan Leonard made his Capitals debut.
Who?
Okay. So Ryan Leonard, he is a Capitals or was a Capitals prospect. Now he's on his ELC.
Right.
And he plays for, I believe, Boston
Okay.
College.
Oh, and BU
Or BU. Give me. Again, I should have these things ready to go, but do I? No.
It's okay. I had something, but now I've lost it. Oh.
Yeah,
no.
sorry. He's on BC.
Okay.
So they lost in the final round before the Frozen Four against Denver, who is like so good.
Okay.
They won the Frozen Four last year, and it was their first time. Their coach, he is amazing. And he was on Spit and Chicklets last year after they won, actually. And they asked him if he would ever go to the NHL. Because Denver, I'm pretty sure, pays him like very, very well. I mean, all coaches are paid very well.
Yeah.
And he kind of said, he was like, why would I do that? NHL coaches get hired to get fired.
Yep, 100%.
So Denver is like crazy. But he made his Washington Capitals debut last night. Had an insane center ice hit. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, I'll show it to you later. But the Capitals, they played the Bruins yesterday. So he's also from Boston.
No.
So all of his like teammates and stuff were there to watch him. They had his jerseys on. Very nice to see, very wholesome. And then there was a video because Washington obviously was in Boston the night before.
Right.
And the team took him out. And like Bands Make Her Dance has been like a...
Yeah, that's been a thing in the Caps locker room.
Yeah. So now it's becoming like outside of the locker room. And there's a video of Ovi and Leonard sitting next to each other at the bar.
Yeah.
And the entire team is singing Bands Make Her Dance. And also Leonard had a beer in front of him and he's only 20. So now people are like, oh my God, like what the heck? Like he's 20 years old. He shouldn't be having that. I'm like, bro, let the kid live.
Bro.
Let the
Really?
kid live.
Oh my God, I hate people.
That was
like
definitely his first beer.
Okay, it was definitely not his first beer.
I'm joking, obviously. Oh my gosh.
I couldn't tell. Honestly, good job. You hit it well.
Thank you.
Um,
Really quick. So I saw a tweet saying, what do NCAA players do when they get signed to an ELC? Like, do they just drop out of college? And Cale Makar, when he got his NHL debut, he had a independent reading course. And this was the day after his debut. His professor received an email from Makar asking if he could have an extension for this independent reading course paper because he had a busy few days. And that is the most Cale Makar thing ever.
yeah, that really is. That's a burden AJHL. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So I don't think Ryan Leonard was asking any teachers for extensions, but it made me giggle. And this time of year is always so much fun because we see like NCAA players coming into the league.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Who did Oilers sign? A guy out of
Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah.
Defenseman. Haven't looked at the scouting report yet, but I've heard he can move the puck good.
Yeah. If they can move the puck, that's all that matters.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all my boys who went down to Vegas with the Nation Vacation.
Yeah.
The FOMO is unreal.
So real.
The videos are driving me insane. You guys look like you're having a great time. You brought the win. You brought the energy. I swear, it sounded like there were more Oilers fans in that game last night.
It did.
It really did. And just shout out to all you guys for giving us the win down in Vegas, because that was all you guys. Probably.
Yep, probably. Okay. Did you have anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a fun little thing we're going to talk about for a couple minutes here.
Okay.
This isn't like a new concept. It's been floated around by many different sites and people before, but I thought it'd be fun for us to talk about it. So basically, the idea of teams having one slot reserved that they can put a player into that basically doesn't count against their cap. So you just have like an exception. One player that just doesn't count against your cap, and you can pay them whatever under the CBA. But like, just having that one slot where you don't have to put that person on your cap. And like,
the NBA has something similar.
well, don't they have like the Supermax deal where
Yeah.
like if you're played on if you're drafted and play on a team for so long, then you can sign the big deal.
Yes.
I think the MLS has like the
Yes.
thing where it's like they have like the three people. It's like, yeah, you can only pay people this much except for those three, which is why Messi literally owns the MLS since he moved here. He's getting paid whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it could work in the NHL. I think there's definitely some things you got to consider, both good and bad. But I personally really like it. I think it would allow for teams. It would reward teams for drafting good.
Exactly.
Um,
And then you get to keep that player forever as long as they want to stay.
Yeah.
But like, if there's no ramifications for paying them whatever the market price is, there's no reason for them to not stay unless like there's reasons that they don't love the organization or whatever.
Well, there's a few like these are like the perceived downsides I'm hearing. Is one, like, it does screw over a small niche of players that people like to argue, like Leon Draisaitl, Mikko Rantanen, basically these like superstars that are the best player on any other team, but are second on their team because they play with McKinnon or McDavid or Matthews or whatever. Like this super niche. And my argument is no.
I was just going to say, does it though?
No, it doesn't, because like, oh, well, they're not able to get this super amount of money because they're on this team, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. But you know what? If McDavid's next contract didn't count on the cap, his $20 million that we're going to pay him, we give Leon 16 instead of 14.
Exactly.
Because we can afford it.
And it, like, also, are any of these players going to complain about making like $2 million less? I'm sure there would be
Rantanen
some,
seems to.
But like, if we're talking about like Leon Draisaitl, I don't think he would, because you also have to think about these players are so good because they're also with these top end guys.
Well,
And
Leon's proving he doesn't need it, but
true. But when you have like Matthews and Marner,
yeah.
and they're also best friends off of the ice.
Well, that's always the thing, is it's always a pair. Matthews, Marner, McKinnon, Rantanen.
And you can't do it without two.
No. McDavid, Bouchard. You got Will Smith and Celebrini on the up and up.
Exactly.
You need a pair.
Like no one guy can do it on their own. It was basically the same way for the NBA for like a really long time.
Yep.
You couldn't do it with just one or two guys. You needed three.
Well, I stopped watching really like the year after the Raptors won the cup or the championship there.
Yeah.
Because like they sold that team for some reason. But yeah, even there it was what?
But
DeRozan and Lowry or whatever it was.
Yeah, like
it's like
DeRozan and Lowry. Another one for a really long time in Oklahoma City was Durant and Westbrook.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get it done. And then Durant left, went to Golden State. And that was like the first super team, and they were insane. But before they even had that, like...
I can sit here and list so many NHL examples, too. They even just like throughout history.
Exactly.
Gretzky, Messier.
Exactly.
Taves, Kane.
Yeah.
Like you can just go. Crosby, Malkin. Like it just keeps going. Ovechkin, Backstrom.
Yep. So I don't think it does. And if like players have relationships within each other, like they are going to have that understanding that, okay, yours isn't going to go against the cap, so it's going to be more, but I'm still going to be the highest paid player under the cap in the league.
Yeah, 100%. And so like that's one of the downsides I've seen people argue. I don't really like that argument. One of the arguments I do understand and I kind of agree with is it really only favors the rich teams. Because if you have one of these poor owners who decides they don't want to pay a guy more than they need to because it's not under the cap, like you're going to see a team like Buffalo end up trading Dahlin because he's asking for $16 million. That wouldn't count against their cap, but they don't want to pay him $16 million because they can't afford $16 million.
I feel like that's when I feel like I give like a lot of faith and trust in these players and like their agents. Because I'm like, well, if you understand that the organization doesn't have this money, but they want to keep you and they want to pay you the max they can.
Okay, so then all that's going to end up doing then that way is you're going to end up with such a discrepancy between the top and the bottom of the league.
That's true.
Because you're going to have Edmonton, Toronto, Boston, Chicago, all these teams with a lot of money who are able to put one guy making $100,000 million or whatever you want to say. He doesn't count. And now you've got room for, to build a super team with a superstar at the top of it, making max amount of money, not under your contract. Well, these other people can't do that.
Yeah. And that is kind of where like the NBA, unfortunately, has like taken a downturn.
And I know like the MLB, like they have a soft cap and they've got the luxury tax, but like that still doesn't mean anything when the Dodgers are able to sign Ohtani and Yamamoto and be like, well, we're actually just
Yamamoto.
There wasn't.
It's not Yamamoto.
I swear it was.
I don't know his name, but it's not Yamamoto.
Okay, it's not
Kyler Yamamoto.
I was scrolling through and saw he scored for Utah like 2 days ago, and
Fair.
It was in the brain, I guess. Whatever. And then not only are they able to do that, but they're also be like, we're actually just gonna pay them in 20 years. So none of this counts against the cap, actually. So fuck everyone else.
I know,
because we're the Dodgers.
Ohtani's making like $2 million right now.
Yeah, and then in 10 or 12 years or whatever it is, he's
like
going to get dropped $80 million in his bank account.
Yeah.
And he's going to go fuck off back to wherever. And
he'll be retired by then. Like
that's what I mean. He's probably just going to go back home.
Oh, yeah.
And go live in like a castle.
He'll probably have like his own like island.
Yeah, there you go. Ohtani Island.
But I personally like it, especially because there's already a discrepancy with the NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA on how players are
100%.
Paid, sorry.
Yeah.
Because like the NHL is so low compared to what every other league is.
Our highest paid player makes about what, a bench player in the NBA?
I think it's
fifth string quarterback.
Yeah.
Like it is bad because these are probably the most athletic people in the world.
Exactly.
But it's just we don't have the money that football or basketball.
I know. Like,
hell, even the MLS is catching up to us since it got messy.
yeah.
However, we're starting to pull back up.
Yeah.
And I think the NHL started doing a better job at marketing themselves, at doing things to bring new eyes to the game. And Four Nations was a huge part of that. And I don't really want to give them credit because we could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no.
Yeah.
And then they finally said yes, and it worked. And we're like, just no one's surprised. This was fantastic.
International hockey? I don't think so. Like obviously, we're going to love that.
Yes.
International best on best.
I don't really want to
like,
give Bettman and the NHL like front office credit for that move because it's like it should have been happening anyway.
Well, also, with the cap going where it's going.
Well, I'm sure that's $7.7 billion.
I was just going to say, Sportsnet's $7.7 billion deal.
That's with a B, people.
B billion. It's 12 years. So, okay, there's positives and there is negatives to this.
Sure.
And I have my gripes with Sportsnet.
Okay.
I think the audio or like the video quality is not where it could be.
It's definitely not where it could be.
Because when we watch Amazon Prime, holy shit,
Oh,
does
yeah.
the ice look clear and like it's so bright and it kind of looks like you're actually in the arena.
100%. As much as I hate the Prime games, like their production value is so
Yeah.
good. And I definitely
They're
think-
commentators, like,
yeah, we can.
but we won't get into that.
I usually just mute it and turn on the radio.
That's fair.
But no, what
Also,
I think Sportsnet's done a better job in recent years, but they like from where they were,
I guess
but like there's still a long way to go.
I'm just saying, like last night, the audio was like, it was fucked.
It was bad.
It was so bad. And like you could hear mic pops
Yeah.
and it was driving me insane. I asked Dylan if he was noticing it, and obviously he wasn't because he hasn't been trained to listen for that because we are radio nerds.
Yeah.
And know when like mic position is weird, and also if it's turned up too much.
Yep.
And they had it turned up too much, but then also they had like the ice level turned up
Yeah, that was
too much.
weird.
So then like the announcer was coming in over Jack and Louie, and like it was like they were competing, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, like I can't listen to this.
No, I 100% understand what you mean. I didn't have the game up super loud last night. I was doing other things, but so like I don't think I quite caught the mic pops because I didn't.
It was driving me crazy.
But I did hear like the announcer sounded super loud
Yeah.
through my TV and everything else. So, yeah, I don't know. 7.7 billion coming into the league is never a bad thing.
But also, something that Sportsnet does is they will show like a different play before actually getting to the one that you want to see.
I
and
hate
that drives me insane.
See, my thing they do a lot is they start showing a play and then they cut to a different thing. I'm like, what are we doing? Did we just did we make a bad call in the operating room? Did the fucking person be like, oh shit, wrong? Like, what is going on?
I don't understand it.
If a penalty happened behind the play, I want to see the play. Don't show me the shot from 2 minutes ago.
Literally.
Show me the fucking penalty. Because I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
It was behind the play. I need you guys to go back and show me.
Exactly. And it happened on Saturday with Calgary against the Oilers.
Yeah.
Because they were showing some drive to the net. And then there's a scrum happening. And then Perry drops the gloves. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Oh my God. I was in my basement like screaming because I was like, because you can hear Jack and Louie talking about it.
Yeah.
And we're still watching the drive to the net. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the save. I don't care.
No, 100%. It's definitely rough sometimes, and it's just there is like a long way to go. But no, I understand what you mean with like the actual like the after whistle stuff where they start it feels like they've like predetermined what they're going to show,
which makes sense.
It does, but also usually what we want to see is what just happened, not what happened 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So like, or like there'll be times where like goalie makes a save, and you're like trying to be like, it was on the far side, and you're like, did he actually get a piece of that? Did it hit the side of the net? Like, what happened there? And then they like show the entry into the zone and the setup, and you're like, show me the save, show me what I want. Just show me the thing that just happened.
Yeah. And also, Sportsnet, if you are going to be our main provider for hockey games better not be regional anymore.
Oh, yes.
That shit drives me insane. I know I literally said it last week, but let me watch as much hockey as I want to watch, and do not make me watch a fuck-ass game against San Jose and the Kraken. I want to be able to watch Dallas and Carolina.
Yeah, 100%.
So that is my gripe with it, but I'm happy because we get more Gene, we get Louis and Jack, and
we get so much more Gene.
So much more Gene. And you know what? That is something that we need to appreciate.
I appreciate Gene every day of my life.
Okay. Are we good to move into the intermission?
I believe so. I don't think I have anything else super pressing.
Okay.
The sound of the buzzer means it's time for the intermission.
So I am going to do this as quickly as possible because that was a long NHL segment.
It was, but there was a lot going on.
There was
a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
Because I texted Mac last night and I'm like, I got nothing. It's all like playoff stuff. And then I came in today. I'm like, oh shit, no, I have things I got to talk about.
Okay. So first off, the Toronto Scepters, they clinched their playoff spot.
Go
which is,
Sarah Nurse.
Yeah, go Sarah Nurse.
Fun fact, did you know someone in our class is related to her?
Yeah. Shout out
Liz. I got her to explain how that all worked, so now I know the connection.
Yeah.
Could I remember how to tell you? No, it's complicated as hell, but it's there.
Yeah, and it's there, and that's all we care about. Okay, so the Scepters, they are also in the news because they have a forward, Hannah Miller.
Yes.
And she wanted to play for Team Canada. And she is British Columbia born.
Okay.
But she represented China at the 2022 Olympics and then played for a Chinese professional team in the 2022-23 season before coming to the PWHL.
Okay, I'm still not seeing what's wrong with any of this.
So basically, she has like Chinese lineage.
Yeah, 100%.
And since she played for them for the 2022 Olympics, the IIHF came to the decision that the 2-year timeline wasn't enough. So what I'm assuming is since she played for that Chinese professional team in the 2022-23 season, they said, you need to wait like another year before you're eligible to play for Canada.
I think that's stupid.
I think it is dumb, especially if she is actually Canadian born.
Yeah, so this conversation I had with my dad, because he brought this up to me during Four Nations, and I had no idea it was the thing.
Because it was like they were looking into it and like deciding or trying to decide.
Yes, so this was a conversation me and my dad had with another player, William Nylander.
Okay.
Plays for Team Sweden.
Yep.
He was born in Calgary.
That is true.
He could play on Team Canada.
I don't think you would.
No, he wouldn't. He's come out and said he's never like associated with. Not that he doesn't associate, but he thinks
like,
of himself
I'm
as Swedish. I am Swedish. I play for Sweden and all that. But it's that interesting thing of like he could play for Team Canada.
He could.
And now this is where the double standard would. If William Nylander comes to Team Canada and be like, hey, I want to play for you guys at the Olympics. Do you think the IIHF would have a problem with it?
Probably not.
No, because he's William Nylander.
Yeah.
But Miller's not a bad hockey player.
No, she's not.
So, like, this is, like, I'm kind of pissed off at that double standard just in my head that I think that's how that would play out.
Yeah.
And maybe the IHF would be like, nope, you played for Sweden in the Four Nations. Can't do it. You got to go play for Sweden. And you know what? Fine. I'd accept that.
Yeah.
But it was just like a conversation me and my dad had about this being like, yeah, like, what do you do if you're like these players where you could play for multiple teams? And there's an account on Instagram I follow who's run by, he's a hockey page, but they got Greek heritage.
Okay.
And so he's always posting stuff for like Greek's national team that he's like a part of trying to put together or something.
Yeah.
And they're always just like, you just need to have like a grandparent with Greek descendants and you can come play for us.
Honestly.
And so like, I just think it's funny how like we have Canada's got people born in BC who want to play for them. And they're like, yeah, but no. And I get the reasoning a little bit. And maybe it's like in the rules or something. I don't know, that you need to not do things. But I don't think the fact that she went and played over in China before we had a professional like a top tier professional women's league is a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I kind of took that from
No,
you.
that's literally fine. I do have something that I don't know if you know about.
Okay.
It's not PWHL related,
Okay, I'm listening.
but it's really big sports news.
Okay.
And me and Dylan have been talking about it a lot. Me and Sawchuk talked about it a bit yesterday too. So the Yankees have developed like a new bat. It's a torpedo bat. So basically it's a little bit shorter. So like your hands are closer to like the barrel. I could be.
I'm looking at a picture of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
looks funky.
Yeah.
It's got such a long shaft.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it like gets kind of like wider and then dips in again.
Yeah.
So because guess who is doing this? Did I say already?
The Yankees
Yeah, the Yankees. Everybody hates the Yankees. I hate the Yankees.
picked up 36 runs, outscoring their opponent by an MLB high 22 runs through 3 games.
Yeah.
Jeez, sorry, I'm just reading headlines.
Yeah. And they had 8 home runs against the Brewers, I believe,
Wow.
in the first 3 innings, which is crazy. But also we have to take into account they were at home for this.
Okay.
And Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
it's the outfield or
The wall.
whatever, the wall is actually like the smallest in the league.
Yeah.
So that's always why they have the most home runs.
For sure.
But still,
I'm just curious how much of it actually has to do with the bat or if they just off to a good start.
it actually has a lot to do with the bat. And they have this physicist from MIT that came in and made this design. And it's not breaking any rules. A lot of people are up in arms about it, but really, like, anybody can do it. All you have to do is just copy the design.
Yeah, but as soon as they put a patent on it or something and make it, we can't do it. But
I don't know.
I don't think you could get away with that.
The MLB rules, the lines can be blurred.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think the Yankees could get away with, like, putting a patent on this product and
no.
then gatekeeping it
No.
from the rest of the league is what I meant.
Definitely not.
Changing your bat around to, I'm sure that's, like, yeah, walking a line somewhere and you have to stay within the guidelines of, like, because, like, I can think of NHL things where, like, a hockey stick has to fit a certain dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I can think of Vinny had to get an exception just to have his stick be a fittable size.
Yeah.
And, like, Draisaitl he's walking the edge with that paddle.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I get that there can be some differences in between the bats, and they don't have to be the same bat.
Yeah.
But I'm just, if this is, like, if this bat is the reason, it won't take long for teams to switch.
Oh, no. There's a guy on the Jays doing it already. Hold up.
So what about these, like, the design of this bat makes them better?
I don't really know the metrics of it. I think Dylan
Come on, you didn't
explained it to me.
You didn't do a deep dive, like, you didn't read the paper.
I watched a 20-minute segment before the Jays game on Sunday. And they did a whole thing about it, but I was only half listening. I'm pretty sure it adds more power, which makes sense.
What I'm reading on a Twitter and kind of these other news sites, because there's more weight closer to your hands on it, so you can actually have a heavier bat, so you can get a better swing out of it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
So yeah, more power.
Yeah, 100%.
And power hitters are more valued in the MLB as well.
Yep.
So I just thought it was really interesting, and
it's just a funky looking bat. I keep looking at pictures and I'm like, that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. But every league wants more offense, because also something that Sawchuk said to me yesterday that I was like, that obviously, strikeouts are boring. And like, that's the most boring part of a baseball game, is just
Really?
watching strikeouts.
I mean, I don't know.
If you're invested, yeah, but seeing hits is what everybody wants to see.
I don't know. I've been to one Major League ball game in my life, and it was not a Jays game, unfortunately. We were down in Seattle, so we caught a Seattle...
Mariners.
Well, yeah, the Mariners, but I was trying to think who they were playing.
Oh.
Was it the Guardians? Is that a team?
Yep. Washington Guardians.
Yeah, I think it was Washington. I think it was Seattle, Washington. That was one of the most boring experiences of my life.
Exactly. More offense.
Yeah, but there was plenty of hits. I honestly enjoyed watching people walk away from the plate sad. I thought that was fun.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not like the biggest baseball person. Like, I don't mind like throwing it on the TV. It feels like golf for me, where I'll put it on and then I'll go do other things.
Yeah.
I cannot sit there and watch an entire game of baseball.
That's fair.
It's so boring.
That's fair. So, yeah, I thought it was interesting and I thought we should talk about it.
No, it's very cool.
Time for our Oilers.
It is more than time for our Oilers, because you know what? No Connor, no Ekholm, no Stu, no Frederick, no Kane, no problem. Fuck you, Vegas.
Also, fuck you, Calgary.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But fuck you, Vegas. As I mentioned earlier, my boys are down there, Oilers Nation. Bunch of my friends have met on other trips. They seem to be having a blast. And last night, had to add to that. Oilers go down 1-0 early. Typical Oilers. Give up an odd man rush on the break. Vegas is such a threat off the rush. And they bury it. Nick Roy, however you say it.
Honestly, don't care.
Yeah, me neither. He gets that first one, but then the second period.
That second period. Know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
Is because it was an 8 o'clock game. I was like, I'm tired. This first period was very low event hockey, not super entertaining.
Yep.
I'm going to go take a bath. And then I could hear the TV from the bathroom and I was like, fuck. And then I was like, do I just need to like stay in the bathroom for the entire game because they had such a good second period? But I didn't, obviously.
And then, so you got out, Vegas scores, goes up, makes it 3-2.
Yeah. But then they played very good.
did.
They locked it down, honestly. Like, yes, they spent a lot of time in their own zone, but I felt like they protected the lead like very well last night.
So, coming out in the second, newly acquired, well, not newly, he's still pretty new.
He's new.
Jake Wallman gets his first as an Oiler with
I
an
love
absolute
that.
rocket of a shot.
That was insane.
Just low, hard, and just beat Hill.
Like a missile, honestly.
And this was the only thing going through my mind. And I know you guys can't see, and I will describe it, but it's a scene from Wally with Wally. He's got a little trash can on his head, and he's clapping. He looks all happy, and Wally scored, and I was just so happy for him. And it tied the game up 1-1 at that time. It was a huge goal.
Huge.
And we've been watching him shoot now for weeks.
Yep.
And he's got a heavy shot. And
Yeah.
I don't think Hill expected that shot from where it was and to be as heavy as it was.
And also, like, I just love Wallman because he eats pucks.
God,
like,
he eats pucks like a
nobody's
machine.
business. And then he's not afraid to also fire it off.
Yep.
So, love him.
I'm low key. I'm kind of loving the Wallman Boucher pair.
Me too.
You'd think they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Two guys who are known to like maybe turn the puck over once too many times, or maybe not have the strongest defensive game.
more
but
offensive.
They move the puck together so well.
Yeah.
And now it's got me thinking of Ekholm Nurse in the playoffs.
I hate that.
Could you imagine? That's a mean line to go against.
I would like that.
Those
two yapping in your ear.
Yeah. Imagine you line up, right? It's game 1 of the playoffs. You're the LA Kings because we're playing the LA Kings. And let's see, what's their top line? The line that can't be nicknamed. Kuzmenko.
Kempe,
Yeah.
Kopitar,
Kuzmenko.
Kuzmenko.
Yeah. Can't nickname that line. Sorry, guys. You line up against them, and across from you, you've got Kane, Frederick, Perry, Nurse, Ekholm. You're getting off in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're going to know, Doughty, this is on you guys.
Yeah. For real, though. So yeah, I'm loving Jake Wallman more and more every day.
Me too.
The Nuge goal or Nuge assist to
Oh my
Draisaitl
God.
on the
He
power
baited
play.
3 guys into thinking he was shooting that puck. I thought he was shooting that puck. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, whoa, look, Draisaitl. And then Draisaitl looked staggered that he had the entire net to shoot at.
Yeah. And he was just, and he had like that extra second and he was like, okay, like.
Well, normally when he takes that shot, he's trying to beat the goalie to the post and he's got to slip it in past their side. And
Yeah.
he's so good at it. I don't think he was ready to look up and hell on his face. Like,
Seriously.
like that scene from the Mighty Ducks when Goldberg gets caught behind the net. Like,
also, I want to say I don't like how everybody like gets on Skinner and Pickard for kind of how they like flop down. Because I watched Hill do it
Hill does it all the time.
probably 5 or 6 times last night.
I can name you like 4 goalies who don't.
Exactly.
But like literally, like I think it's like Hellebuck does a good job at not doing it unless he has to. Shesterkin, but Shesterkin's crazy.
Yep.
Sorokin doesn't do it a whole lot. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
He used to, and yeah,
That's really it. So
because like
when
Bobrovsky
everybody's
does it all the fucking time.
exactly.
It's,
So
I don't think it's that big of a deal,
yeah,
guys.
it's really not.
They're just trying to get the puck. Speaking of the goaltending, I got a fun stat for you.
Okay.
The Oilers this season. Sorry, I had it pulled up, but it's been so long since I opened my phone, it went away. The Oilers this season, when they have gotten 900 goaltending or better, are 34 1-2.
Wow.
If we just get 900, we've won almost every game this year.
Okay. I will take that.
That's all we need in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is for our goalie, both of them. I don't care which.
Yeah.
I don't care who's our starter. I don't care. I don't care who plays. I
At
trust
this
Calvin.
point-
I trust Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't trust him to play more than 2 games in a row.
That's fair.
So that's why Skinner's my starter, no matter what. I don't care if he's injured and he's missed and he's only going to have a few games before the playoffs. Stuart Skinner is my starter all day, every day. I trust him to go 3-4 games if we need him. And I expect Pickard to play in these playoffs as well.
Yeah. For sure.
Everyone sit here like, well, you just need to run the hot goalie. No, you don't. You don't do the Boston thing where they tried to alternate. That doesn't work.
No.
But you give Skinner the first 3 games. If he looks good, you give him the 4th. If he looks bad, you give him Pickard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No.
And then you go back to Skinner. Or unless, like, if Pickard gives you a really good game, then you play him.
Yeah.
And then you go back. Like, I'm no coach, and I'm not Chris Knobloch. And Knobloch knows what to do. And Nobby, we trust.
We do.
I had another thing I wanted to talk about.
I
And
have
it was
one.
like, okay, I'll let you go, and I'll figure out what I was going to say.
The Oilers lead the NHL with 21 one-goal victories. That is
just getting ready for those tight playoff games.
Yeah.
Learning how to win tight games.
honestly, like, I have no problem with it because first off, it's a win and you can't critique a win. Well, you can, but like, you don't be
really
like,
think there was
that was a 1-goal victory, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think
Whatever.
there was a lot to critique in that
No.
game. Like, Vegas is a really good team. They
Yeah.
got a really good goal at the hop. We beat them in the second. And, like, yeah, I know they got another quick one to start the third.
But then we locked down
But we locked it in. Like, I didn't really have a problem with either of the goals that got past Pickard.
No.
Pickard made some huge saves.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, especially down
really
the
did.
stretch, cutting down angles. That last save he made with, like, a minute 20 left or whatever, like, when he flew out of the crease, he was, like, almost at the bottom of the circles to stop that shot.
Also,
Talk about cutting down the angle.
Kapanen, because they drew out Pickard and then Kapanen just came in.
Oh, that was...
Oh,
Kapanen had one of his best games last night,
Yes,
at least in a long
he did.
time.
yeah.
Honestly, most of the European guys did. Janmark
Yeah.
had a really good game. He had a really good game. Pod Colson.
Great game.
So I actually had this conversation with a couple people in my Discord last night about, like, people talk about how he's not scoring, and like I like to compare it to Puljujärvi's level of production. Like, he's not scoring, and he's not really getting points, and that's kind of what was happening with Puljujärvi. But with Puljujärvi, to make him, people would go and like cherry pick specific like analytics to be like, oh no, but he's actually like doing good things on the ice. But you never really saw it. Pod Colson, you see it.
yeah, his forecheck.
His forecheck is insane. He hits. He protects the puck well. He defends pretty good. Like, I'm not going to, like, he's not like an elite defensive winger, but he still defends pretty well. And at least with Pod Colson compared to Puljujärvi, bless you.
Sorry.
I can see what he's doing on the ice, and it's tangible.
Yeah,
And
it
you
is.
can see the underlying stuff that everyone was always saying, oh, Puljujarvi does this really well. He's really good at this. He's like actually not that bad in the neutral zone.
Yeah,
Podkolzin's one of the best guys I've ever seen at entering his zone by himself.
I agree.
He never
I
seems to turn it
agree.
over. He always makes the right play. And I'm very happy with Podkolzin. And I don't
Yeah.
care that he's not really scoring because you know what? Leon Draisaitl has 52 now.
Exactly.
So, like, I know you guys didn't see me. I just pointed at the wall like a fucking idiot. But, sorry, go ahead.
Also, Evan Bouchard joins Paul Coffey as the only defenseman in Oilers franchise history to record consecutive 60-point seasons.
Had to be Boosh.
The mouth breathers will hate that.
I don't care. Bouchard is going to get 10 by 8. We've had this discussion. I'm going to say it's like 10 and a half by 8, and people are going to cry about it. They'll be blaming Bowman, they'll be blaming Jackson, they'll be blaming Daryl Cates, and it'll all be dumb because in 3 years when the cap goes up another 7-8 million in that time frame, and he's like whatever, he's an elite offensive defenseman. And I know you keep just go ahead.
Bouchard will be wiping their tears with his money.
Yes, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
my whole argument here is you don't pay him. He walks in the free agency after the bridge, and then you have to spend the next 10 years finding the next Evan Bouchard when you could have just paid Evan Bouchard.
Yep.
So it's a dumb thing. He'll be fine. And going back to the whole real quickly, like exempt star player cap thing makes it makes signing a guy like Bouchard suck less.
Exactly. Also, Bob Stauffer said that to expect the Oilers to be signing some European players as well as some more NCAA players.
I mean, I get sorry. Please.
No, you're good. I think that is very smart.
Yes.
Especially because we don't have a lot of draft picks.
Yes.
This is a very good alternative. And a lot of these guys are not that the WHL and like the Western League and OHL, EHL aren't high levels of hockey, but the money and like conditioning and mindset that is in college hockey in the States is next level.
I see, ever since Toronto did it in, was it 22, 23, when they signed Nyes just before the playoffs, and now look at him.
Exactly.
Like, I've opened up to the idea more of like, yeah, I know like the draft and everything, but why aren't we just taking more random flyers on NCAA guys? And like Europe, like it seems like since Bowman's come in, our European scouting has gone way up.
Yep.
So that's good. And I mean, for like most of Ken Holland's tenure, we didn't have an OHL scout. Did you know that?
It's a weird thing to not have.
For most of Ken Holland's tenure, we did not have a scout in the OHL. And I think right now it's Zach Cassian. And I think we actually have a couple other guys, but Cassian's one of them.
I'm sure Cassian isn't like the lead on that.
No, he's not. But he's on payroll. Because I know like Duncan Keith is our scout in BC.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Duncan Keith is still under Oilers payroll. He just gets to live out in his little house, and once a year he has to host a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds for the Youngstars tournament in Penticton. And he just gets to like go and watch hockey in BC for us.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I'm like
he hates
90%
that.
sure that's what Duncan Keith does.
I can't imagine he hates that.
No, I can't either. He gets to live in his like beach house in BC. Are you kidding me?
So Stauffer says it'll probably be 4 forwards and a couple defenders signed by July.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Our prospect pool, like I know, I talked to you the other day about how one of the hockey sites had the Oilers' future ranked pretty high. Like I can't remember the exact number. I want to say it was like 8th or something.
I think it was 8.
And so like a lot of that has to do with Matt Savoy and how good he is and how good he's going to be. And Sam O'Reilly they really liked. And there's a couple more like depth guys that they're like, oh, well, this guy was picked late but could be a bottom 6 guy.
They still think Rodrigue could be really good.
Yeah, they still think. Speaking of Rodrigue, sorry, I'm gonna finish my thought and then I'm gonna go talk about Rodrigue. So I don't think it's the worst idea to just go sign a bunch of guys, and even if none of them pan out, what did it cost you?
Nothing.
Besides Daryl Cates' money, and I don't think Daryl Cates is really gonna miss it.
No.
No offense, Daryl Cates, but I'm buying the $22 beers.
I'm literally going to the fan park on Saturday for a non-Oilers event.
There you go.
Guys got money coming in every which way.
So, I really don't think... I think it's smart, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's really smart to go take some guys out of college, out of Europe, and just bring them in. Because it doesn't cost... it's not costing you anything.
Yep.
Rodrigue.
Yep.
I think he gets his start against the Sharks.
I agree.
I think it's it's literally the perfect spot.
It is.
Calvin Pickard's played what? Half of Dallas, Kraken, Flames, and now the Golden Knights. Give him a rest. He's played 3, 3.5.
Yep.
Even when we had Stu, you'd play him 4 games and give Pickard the game. So Pickard's played. Give it to your backup.
Yep.
And it's the Sharks. I mean, I know they got Celebrini and Smith, and
they did take us to overtime in December.
Yeah, but give Ollie the start, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially from what we saw out of him in the
Kraken game.
Yeah. He made some big saves, and he looked alive.
Yep.
And I bet now he's been up here for a few days and got to practice with the team. I'm sure he settled down a little bit, and he won't look so chaotic and scared.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? He made the saves.
Yeah.
And then you go back to Pickard for the Kings, the Ducks, the Blues, and if Skinner's still not back, you play him against the Sharks again.
Yep.
And then you have the Jets, the Kings, and guess what? The Sharks again.
Oh, my God. Also, why are we playing so many 8 p.m. games now? We haven't had 8 p.m. games all year, and now it's twice a week.
Because they're really trying to fit in all of the division. Because,
I know.
the end of the season has a lot more divisional games.
I know.
So they're really, the Sportsnets and the TSNs and all that are really trying to fit them all into their schedule before the playoffs.
I know. Okay. Also, what was I going to say? Oh, LA needs to lose some games.
God, LA needs to lose some games.
Because I didn't realize that they are so good at home.
They're really good at home.
And
this is what we need. We need
home ice advantage. We need it.
I don't think we need it. Listen, I've seen a lot of videos of people being like, the Kings are so good at home, or a lot of posts and videos of being like, Kings are good at home. They get home ice advantage. And then I'm seeing Kings fans down in the comments being like, until we beat the Oilers, home ice advantage doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's still Kings fans who are like, we're a good team, but until we beat the Oilers, nothing matters.
I still would like to have it.
I would still love to have it, absolutely. I'd love to start the playoffs in Edmonton, but I don't think the home ice advantage was what makes or breaks the series.
Okay.
Because we've played pretty well in LA the last few years as well.
I'm always more pessimistic when it comes to playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I should be saying this out loud, but I'm going to. Last year when we went into the series against Dallas, I honestly did not think that we were going to be making it out.
I had faith. I said Oilers in 5.
Because Dallas was so good coming into playoffs. They were. They were the hottest team in the league. They were.
I guess, but I don't know. I feel like all the storylines going into that wrote the Oilers off completely for some reason.
I know.
Oh, well, Dallas is deeper. They have the better goaltender. They have better defense, which, sure, but we have a McDavid.
I know.
It's like that scene from the Avengers where it's like, I have a army. We have a Hulk. We have McDavid Draisaitl.
I know.
And literally nothing can beat that.
I know. I mean, Florida beat it. But...
Hey, Kay, you cannot do that.
Also, we should talk really quickly about Zach Hyman being on What Chaos.
Oh, 2 of my favorite boys together. I love DJ Bean. I got the honor and the chance to meet him during the Seattle game. I didn't really interact with him too much. He was a busy guy going around, pardon my pun, but causing chaos around the bar.
Nice.
He was side hosting with the Oilers Nation guys. It was a great event, and he seems like such a great guy.
Yeah. So that was actually my first time fully listening to What Chaos.
Was the Zach Hyman interview?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that on my drive to school actually.
Yeah. And literally, it had me smiling.
I know, I was
because
giggling.
he is just a genuinely good person and like loves Edmonton and is just normal. And how can you hate the guy? You really
I have
can't.
no idea how I missed the Paw Patrol interview when it happened.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I missed that, but I found out about it today, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that is so perfect.
That is so Zach Hyman. It hurts.
It is. And the
Yeah.
fact that, like, at the end and after their interview, he stuck around, went around, found the Sharpie so he could
Yeah.
sign the goal tracker thing
Yeah.
for DJ. Like, that's just super cool.
Yeah. It was just a feel good interview.
It was.
And I feel like we don't see a lot of Oilers doing media outside of the Edmonton sports.
Yeah, besides what
like-
they're like, or what they're paid to do.
Yeah. Or no, like post-game scrums or like things that like the Oilers
Yeah.
need them to do.
No,
so
but, like-
seeing Zach Hyman doing a podcast where like they just talk to him about like what he does.
Yeah, no, 100%. Although I thought one of the comments they make, or what Hyman said about, when his playing career is done, he'll find himself on the other side. What do you mean by that, Hyman?
I could see him in a GM position.
I could also see him in a GM position. Are you kidding me? I mean, like, he's running the Bulldogs right now as warm-up.
Literally.
He's going to get the next, because he's what, 33?
33.
So give him another 5-6 years of running that team.
Yeah.
Get some experience under his belt, and then I'm sure someone somewhere
Yep.
will take Zach Hyman.
Yep.
I mean, fucking what's his name? Greer got a job in San Jose.
Yeah.
No offense to Greer, great hockey player. What does he know about running a team? Clearly something, because he's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
when
we have Zach Cassian as an OHL scout. Like,
What do you want to say? What does that guy know about hockey? He's going to find the biggest guys that hit people and be like,
I
"That guy."
suppose.
He's there to find our.
If Zach Cassian can be a scout and have a job within an organization, there's no way Zach Hyman cannot.
I'm not doubting Zach Hyman. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely saying he can. I'm just saying there's some weird things around the league where you look and be like,
That's
well,
fair.
how did you? Like, what are your qualifications?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, Martin St. Louis being a coach makes sense.
It's like the
Yzerman being a GM, I guess
Makes
made
sense.
sense, but he's not doing a great job.
no.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you think it makes sense, it actually doesn't work. Like Carolina's GM, he's young
yeah,
and does not have a hockey background.
Kyle Dubas.
He's like no, Kyle Dubas is not the Carolina
no,
GM.
he's not.
But,
Sorry. I was just
But
thinking of another guy. Yeah, Don Waddell.
yeah, he's young
Yeah,
and honestly has done a good job. You can't complain too much.
yeah. I mean, in the span of his 2 years, he got Gensel, lost Gensel, got Rantanen, lost Rantanen.
But now they have Taylor Hall.
Okay.
This is still Oilers related because once an Oiler, always an Oiler.
Yes. We can quickly touch on the BOA, and then I think that's a
Wrap
wrap.
up. Yeah.
So, Battle of Alberta went down over the weekend. Mac, before that game, you looked at me and with a straight face said the Battle of Alberta is dead.
Yep.
How
I did.
stupid do you feel?
Okay, I don't feel like that's stupid. I say a lot of stupid things. So really, I was just like,
Okay.
another stupid thing that I
How
said.
wrong do you feel?
Like wrong, but also not that wrong.
Yeah, how can you watch that game and
It
say
was
it's
a
dead?
good game.
It was a
but-
great game.
I won't believe that the Battle of Alberta is back until we have like multiple games like that. Because the ones earlier this season were not at the same caliber.
Because the Oilers were depressed at the early of the season.
I know. But also,
That's not fair.
it was a lot of fun to watch. And Perry, he was the star
Perry
of
was
that
a man
game.
of his word.
He was and is, honestly.
Came out after the Kraken game where they were asking about like the hit on Stu, and he's like, I was on the ice, I didn't see it, I need to fucking see it. Like, he was pissed at himself.
I think that was Dallas, but yes.
Or was it Dallas?
It was Dallas.
Sorry, Dallas.
Yeah. But yeah, he was like, I was pissed at myself, and he made good on his word. And you could hear him yelling chicken shit,
Yeah.
which I loved.
And then, honestly, I've forgotten who scored for us in that game. Right, yeah, the two from Leon, the tying and the game winner, get him 50 and 51. Congrats, Leon, on 50.
Did you see the picture of him like going feral after.
No.
And then in the background, there's a guy in an Oilers jersey wearing a neck brace. Next to him is a Flames fan. She has like a look of distraught on her face. And then there's 2 Oilers fans cheering, and then another 2 Flames fans looking at each other with the face of, oh shit, we're fucked.
I did not see that, but thank you for describing that in
Yeah.
such perfect detail.
Thank you.
Because now I can imagine. I got it in my head.
Right? Yeah. So love that.
And then obviously you had the Arvidsson to get the first one there.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, Jeff Skinner in overtime going
assist.
to Leon. I'm just saying.
It was
Also,
a good play.
it was a great play, and like they weren't having to like rush anything. It was very slow, and also, why would you ever give that much time and space to Leon in the direct middle, right in front of Wolf like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If there's one thing I did learn from that game is that I feel super confident about my my hot take of Wolf replacing Swayman in Team USA.
That's fair.
Wolf is so good.
He is very good.
And I hate it, and I hate giving him credit, but man, is he good.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping when he got the back-to-back AHL champion that it would like, be like, all right, that's his peak, because his small size won't translate to the NHL. And then it does. He's making it work.
Yep.
He's athletic. He makes saves. And that's scary. Did I have anything else? Oh, what did you think of the Victor Arvidsson goal against Vegas and the fact that it did, in fact, count?
I have honestly no problem with it. And I was trying to think about it from like an Oiler fan perspective, if that happened to us. And the way, I don't know whose stick it was, but it was somebody on Vegas.
Yeah.
It came in and deflected it back in, and then Arvidsson just put it in. Yep. So honestly, I have no issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look at it and not be biased. Because, like, I don't know, if I saw someone digging under Pickard...
I don't think he was digging, though.
But he wasn't digging. He made the shot, and I know that. But, like, if I saw William Karlsson doing that to Pickard, I don't know if I could be so, well, the puck was loose. But, like, at the same time, like, the puck was loose.
The puck was loose.
It was loose. It was there. He never pushed the pad. What I thought what they were arguing is that it was under the pad and he pushed it in from the initial. And then you saw the overhead replay, and it's like, no, he just, like, you dove out of your crease and you didn't cover it, and it was loose, and you just shot it, and it went off your leg and in. Yeah. And, like, I think they made the right call.
So do I. And
both on the ice and in the control room or the war room.
And two, when Jack and Louie were talking about it, they were like, that's a good goal. And then after, in the post-game coverage, David Amber and some guy that I've never seen before was on the panel. Mm-hmm. They both said, that is a good goal. And there are times where they're like, I don't agree with that. Like, if you're a Vegas fan, you're upset. But basically everybody was saying, and even 2 guys that aren't Oilers biased were like, hey, that is a good goal. So you kind of put your arms up and say, well, just a shitty bounce for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually when goalies get that mad, they usually know something. Like, you'll sometimes see, like, a goalie, like, kind of put his hands up at the ref, like, he hit me. But you don't usually see the goalie turn around and throw his stick into the net and yelling. So, like, and I get it, like, intense moment in the game. You're trying to keep your team in it. They're only down 1 at that point. Then your coach challenge, and you lose another 2 minutes on the comeback with the PK and blah, blah, blah. But I just want to know what you thought of it. Yeah. I thought it was a good goal. I thought... trying to be non-biased, like, if that happened to Pickard, would I be arguing it so bad? It's hard to tell, but it didn't happen to Pickard.
But I also, with like Hill's reaction, I'm not gonna lie, he's been kind of reactionary recently, so that's why I didn't really read into the way he reacted, because he's been so high emotionally lately. So I'm like, guys, just feeling all the feels, unfortunately.
All right. Well, we suddenly only have 20 minutes till class.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wrap it up here, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, listening.
No video this week.
No video.
Maybe when we like.
It might be like a comeback from summer.
Yeah.
We're going to try a new setup kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we need.
There may be a new studio.
There may
potentially.
Yes, there may be a new studio that'll have a permanent camera set up in there. So that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
But for now, you guys are just going to keep getting fantastic audio of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy 10 episodes.
Happy 10 episodes. Good job, us. This week, I want you to tell... Oh, who do we tell? Oh, I should have had something planned. Tell your
mechanic.
Ooh, that's a good one. Tell the mechanic. He'll tell everyone. Let's just stick with the mechanic this week.
Okay, sweet.
Right. See ya.
Bye.
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.